Good morning and happy Workforce Wednesday. Thank you for all tuning in this morning. Welcome back to the Kentucky Chamber Workforce Center's Bus to Business virtual program series. I hope everyone's staying nice and warm at home or at school or enjoying this nice weather. We've had, this is beautiful since last week was so freezing cold. So hope you all are enjoying that. My name is Harper Smith. I'm the manager of the Kentucky Chamber Workforce Center, and I help direct the Bus to Business program. We're very excited to bring this program to students virtually for the 2020-2021 school year. I want to thank our sponsors in this effort, the Kentucky Society for Human Resources Management and AT&T, who are awesome partners of ours, and we're always excited to help welcome their involvement in our programs and helping to bring classrooms to careers. I also want to thank the entire team at Elenia for helping us navigate the virtual world through this awesome program with their virtual event platform. As usual, our resources and videos are housed on our website, kychamber.com/bus2business, as well as on our YouTube and Facebook streams. We are streaming live on Facebook and YouTube, but the sessions are all recorded there and housed on a playlist for Bus to Business. So whether you're one of the over 300 students tuning in live with us this morning or watching it at a later date, welcome, and I hope you all learned something new today. Today, we will be hearing from Lois Post, Jamie Suttles, Nancy Elenia, and Christina Bryant from the St. Elizabeth Healthcare up in Edgewood, Kentucky. I will be watching the chat and monitoring for any questions that you all may have. And without further ado, I will kick it over to Lois and St. Elizabeth. Thanks.
Hey, everyone. Thanks for joining today. Gosh, 300 students, that's amazing. We haven't had that many on site here. So hopefully that's going to change really quickly, but we are thrilled that we are able to talk to you virtually. We thank the Kentucky State Chamber as well as all the sponsors to invite us to this. Today, obviously, we're a hospital and we're in healthcare, so we want to talk to you about potential health careers that may be in your future. And we're going to finish it off with one of our largest healthcare careers, which is nursing. And that will involve meeting 3 amazing nurses who work here at St. Elizabeth. So just to kind of put in perspective, our organization, we were founded back in 1861 by Henrietta Cleveland as one small hospital, and we did so with the help of the Diocese of Covington and the Franciscan Sisters of the Poor. We are deeply ingrained in the Northern Kentucky, Greater Cincinnati, and Southeastern Indiana communities, so the tri-state. We are home to 10,000 associates and a medical staff of approximately 1,200 physician and advanced practice providers. We currently operate 6 St. Elizabeth hospitals in 6 locations through Northern Kentucky and Southeastern Indiana, and you can read the names of those. And we have 165 St. Elizabeth physicians, specialty as well as primary care offices throughout the 3 states as well. So it's important to note that our mission as a Catholic healthcare ministry, we do provide comprehensive and compassionate care that improves the health of the people that we serve. And our vision is to lead our region to become one of the healthiest in America. And it is our belief that we do that through having the best practitioners. So really, that's what today is a lot about. And I'm just not putting the screen up to, so I can talk about me, but I want to put it in perspective about why I'm here talking to you about how to decide if a health career is good for you. While I was in school a long time ago, I was in nursing school, and while I became a nurse assistant student. Best thing I ever did to complement my nursing studies. After I graduated and passed the national NCLEX, I became a staff nurse, and then for a very long time, I went into nursing management, followed by nursing education, and I went into the HR nursing recruitment, and I was a human resources advisor. It was here in this last position that I began our Health Career Explorers program, so I always knew that educating our future healthcare workers was so important. And then kind of went the academia route in Gateway Community and Technical College, which is part of the large KCTCS college system. I was a lead instructor, not only in their licensed practical nurse program, but in their associate program as well. I taught multiple sections of the Medicaid Nurse Aid program, and I taught and tutored in a variety of nursing and allied health programs. So the nursing, medical assistant, health information, pharm tech, Medicaid Nurse Aid, all the bio sections, dosage calculation, medical terminology, paramedic, massage therapy. So I got a really good idea of what it took and what qualities it took for students to get into these majors. And then I returned to St. Elizabeth about 6 years ago, and I became the manager of the health career programs. I absolutely love it because I get to do things like this. And now we facilitate or collaborate with others to host more than 20 health career education programs like this today. What did this teach me? That there are hundreds of career options open to high school students or even others beyond high school. So I kind of feel what you're going through, even though my education was a long time ago. I realize that there are a lot of options, but with that comes some decisions that may not be so easy. So I'm here to help you with that. I'm going to do a short presentation, and it talks about how to search for your right career. Of course, we would love it if it would be a health career that you decide on in Northern Kentucky, but we also want you to know that the process I'm going to take you through can apply to your career search in any of the career clusters. And then we're going to finish it off with our panel of nursing associates so they can talk about their individual career paths, because you will see that everybody's career path is different. So there's not a cookbook for that applies to everybody. Everybody's different. So this is the process for guiding your career search, and I'm going to break them down. First thing you have to do is learn about all 16 career clusters and their associated career pathways. Yes, you might end up in health sciences, which is the area that we are in, but you also might be interested in marketing or education and training. But start general and break it down from there. I do want to point out that there is another cluster that is independent from health science, and that's STEM. And that's because sometimes I think people think STEM is synonymous with healthcare. It's actually a separate cluster, even though we know it takes some of the same qualities to work in both. So look at all of the career options and the career clusters open to you. I know this looks kind of like a wordy screen. This next part is so important because it talks about determining your skills, abilities, and interests as it applies to your future career. This is my first example. And I just want to preface it by saying all of us here today, the three nurses you're going to talk to and myself, we really don't provide patient care until we do an assessment. That might be in an emergency, it might be in a physician's office, but we always do an assessment of the patient that we base our care upon. Well, the same thing should apply to your career search. And hopefully you can see this, but this is a career result of a family member of mine. And she actually went, since fourth grade, she knew she wanted to be a physical therapist. And so she went through college, and it was not cheap. And she got her bachelor's in biology, and she knew she had then to apply to physical therapy school. Well, part of that involves getting patient care or observation hours. And so she became a physical therapy assistant, but she also obtained a job as a scribe in an emergency department in Chicago. Through that experience, she found that she loved nursing, loved it. So She had her degree, went out and practiced, now kind of had to reinvent herself and go back for her accelerated BSN. So after the fact, I said, and this is my niece, and I said, Margie, go ahead and take this career assessment. I want to see if it fit the pattern. And sure enough, these were her high fit, high interest, high aptitude careers. Well, look, physical therapy, but also nursing. And she knows after a year of practice, she's going to go back to school to be a nurse practitioner. So I asked her, I said, Margie, would you have done anything differently in high school if you would have known this? And she goes, oh my gosh, yes. I would have shadowed a physical therapist and a nurse at that time based on this. So it's pretty interesting that kind of fit her. Well, this is very easy for me to identify with because it's all healthcare. But let's take it a different way in our second example. This is also a relative of mine. And okay, I'll just say it. It's my son who's 19. And he graduated 2 years ago from high school. So I always knew, and he knew that he loved numbers and accounting. He just excelled in it. So I had him take this. Well, it's no surprise things came out like, a tax accountant or, things like compensation benefits or even, business management. That was very consistent. Now, let me tell the other half of the story. He has worked at a golf course for probably going on 5 or 6 years. He absolutely loves it. And so I looked at his results and I thought, nursery and greenhouse manager. Well, he loves being there, taking care of the course and managing it. I later found out that there are some majors out there, and it's called like turf and arena management, that based on not knowing these assessments, I probably wouldn't have even looked there, or I would have not encouraged him to look there. And then I saw this is aquacultural manager. Well, what's that? But I thought, water, the golf course and stuff. So I thought I would take a stab at it. And if you click on this particular assessment, then you can find out about what that was. And it's something he's not interested in, but at least he's ruled it out. So that takes me to my next one. You have to research those careers online. Focus on ones that match your skills and abilities and interest. So you're narrowing it down, and then you're going to do research. I put out this spreadsheet, and Harper, maybe you can post this after the fact, excuse me, because the links aren't operable. But these are great websites. Not only do they talk about all the career clusters, well, some of them do. Some of them talk about health science career cluster in general, specifically. And then there's also additional free career assessments. And then with some of them, there are career videos. So after you narrow it down based on that assessment, do your research. And then after that, this is the point where you request those appropriate employer-based experiences based on your narrowed down focus. So you can see the arrows, your experience, and a lot of people will call these work-based learning experiences, maybe tours or virtual events like you're participating in today. The exploration program, the Health Career Explorers I talked about, maybe a brief shadowing or viewing our live surgery, or maybe a summer camp, mock interviews. And it goes up to, something as committed that you have to be very committed to, like a dual credit course. Now, this goes back to your interest and your aptitudes. If you told me I was going to be able to take a dual credit course in high school, and it was between medical terminology or medical assisting versus quantum physics, obviously it would be on the healthcare side because those are based on my interests. probably quantum physics would not just keep me as engaged. So that's another reason for doing this ahead of time while you're still in high school and picking your classes. The last one is communicate with those at home and at school who help to guide and support you in your career search. Believe me, they are there to help you 100% of the way. So with that, we do have 3 amazing nurses, and they can talk about their career paths. And we had a panel before with these 3 nurses, and I learned so much about them. And I became convinced that there's not a cookbook way to decide on a career, but you need to follow a process to make sure you can find the one that is really makes you passionate about going to work every day. So as you do that, and as Harper said, during the panel, feel free to ask questions via the chat. If we do not answer them immediately, we will try to get to them at the end of the event. So let's get to the panel. First, we have Jamie Suttles, and Jamie, I'll let you take it away.
Hi, everybody. Good morning. My name is Jamie Suttles, and I'm a registered nurse here at St. Elizabeth at the Edgewood location. So like Lois had mentioned before, there's really no cookie cutter cookbook way on how people become nurses. And I'm one example myself. I grew up here in Northern Kentucky. I attended Boone County High School and graduated from there, and ended up going all the way to the West Coast in Los Angeles, California, where I attended and graduated from Loyola Marymount University in 2008. I ended up getting a degree, my bachelor in science, and I actually was looking to going to physical therapy school. My degree was pre-physical therapy, occupational therapy, but it was in the natural sciences. With my life and how things, of course, happen, I ended up moving back from California and coming back to Northern Kentucky to care for my father, who is a veteran who's very sick. Through that time, I figured I needed to do something to help him, so I ended up getting enrolled into an Associate of Applied Science in Nursing at Good Samaritan College of Nursing, and that's located right over there in Cincinnati, Ohio. So that's really the first time that I was exposed and became a nurse. I grew up with sick parents and spent a lot of time in the hospitals, and always had a passion or knew that I wanted to work in healthcare, but I just didn't really understand or know the route in order to do that. So in 2014, I became a nurse here at St. Elizabeth and enrolled in 2015 into a program that the hospital actually helped pay for. It's called a cohort, and I ended up getting my Bachelor of Science in Nursing at Thomas More University. So that's all through the healthcare company that I currently work for now. And I'm so blessed and so lucky because, again, that was an education path that I didn't even know existed. So I went to Los Angeles, lived out there for almost 10 years, came back home here, got a job here at St. Elizabeth, first starting off in the mental health unit. I started working in a mental health unit for about a year until they unfortunately closed down. So my current career now at St. Elizabeth is working in the emergency department. So currently right now, I am an ER nurse, still working through this pandemic. And if you would have told me this 15 years ago where I would be, I would have never guessed. But absolutely loving the job and just understanding that there are so many different ways. And had I had seen this maybe as a junior or a senior in high school, I would have maybe had a little bit more direct path. I think Lois asked the question of, would I have done something different? Yes, I definitely would have, but it's my same thing of if you don't see it, you can't be it. So I just didn't really have the navigation of where I wanted to be. So always kind of knew I wanted to be in healthcare, and nursing just was the best for me.
It's the resources we did not have in the past that you, as students or people in the community post high school, have now are just unbelievable. It's a matter of finding those. So thank you so much. I do have to say to Jamie, when pre-COVID, there were about 2 times where I brought family members to the emergency room, and both times she was there greeting me with that wonderful smile. And I can't say enough about what it made my family members feel like. So thank you.
Thank you.
And next up, we have Nancy, and Nancy Elenia. She has such a unique story, and I could listen to this all day long too. And Nancy probably won't tell you, but she's involved on many committees, many educational committees to support making the practice of nursing better. So I'll let you hear Nancy's story. Take it away, Nancy.
Hey, Nancy, I think your mic is muted. Sorry. Thank you.
Sorry, I got so excited in talking and I didn't realize that I was like muted. So hi, good morning, everyone. So my story is probably different here because I actually received my education in the Philippines. So mine is actually a straight path to nursing. So, when you're a little kid, you have someone that you're idolizing and you're trying to imitate everything that they are doing. So my idol is actually my eldest sister, who is also a nurse. So when I was little, I was in grade school. I knew that I really wanted to be a nurse. So I've been trying to play on how to care for a sick patient. Even my younger sister, I tried to take care of her. So when my sister, I was in sixth grade when my sister worked abroad in Saudi Arabia. At the time, there was a war happening, but she was so brave and determined to further her nursing career and to help our family. So that's the reason why I idolize her a lot. And so she supported my education from high school. And then I remember when I was preparing for a high school graduation, my sister called me and said, well, the nursing school is very expensive, so you might want to choose a different career because I will not be able to support you. So I was heartbroken, but I told her, you know what, maybe I will stop going to school and then I will just work first, and so I can save money because I couldn't think of any other course or college degree that I would like to pursue but nursing. So but later on, I didn't realize that she was just messing with me. The fact is that she already sent the money for my tuition fee for me to go to nursing school. So we don't have a nursing associate degree in the Philippines. All of the nursing course will be a bachelor. So I finished that 4-year course. And you're probably wondering why I'm here in the United States. So I do have a couple in Cincinnati. They are both originally from the Philippines. One is a doctor and one is a chemist. And they usually go to the Philippines on a regular basis to have their vacation there. And unfortunately for them, but fortunately for me, Mr. Eureka actually was admitted in the hospital where I was working, in the Philippines. And then he told me, if in case they will be needing nurse in the Philippines, here in the US, that they were gonna come and find me. And you would, and the rest is history. I was able to come in here and work. So in the first hospital that I worked, you cannot really enter into the critical care setting, which, you were the area where you really take care of very, very sick patients. So you have to go and start, of course, in the beginning, like a regular floor, we're in like a less sicker patient. So I spend my time taking care of pediatric or the elderly, the geriatric or the medical surgical unit for the first 3 years. So once I get that experience, I was able to get into the ICU. So I spent 4 years in there. So when I came in here, I started with the medical surgical again, just to kind of practice my communication skills. And then after a few months, I transferred back to the ICU. So here at medical intensive care unit, I've been there since 2007 up to now. So as Louise mentioned, I've been involved, aside from doing the bedside nursing care, they gave me an opportunity, a lot of opportunity to teach, like skill sets, specialized competencies. I also get involved with different kinds of committees that will improve the nursing practice, most especially research. So there's a lot of opportunities that open up. And I know that, if in case I change my career, or not really change, but advance my career, that here at St. Elizabeth, I will be able to do that. So that's actually my story.
Great. Thank you so much. And Nancy is one of the first people when I asked for volunteers. Well, all three of our nurses, they're the first ones to say, whatever you need, Lois. So they're wonderful. And thank you so much, Nancy.
You're welcome.
And next, we have Christina Bryant, and Christina works in the area of surgery. Yet Christina and I work on a lot of programs together. She spearheads the MOON program, which is the Medical Observation Opportunity Network, which is a 5-day camp where they shadow physicians. And it's been wonderful working with Christine on that and streaming live surgery. So, but I'll let you listen to her story because hers is interesting as well. Take it away, Christina.
Hi, good morning. Thanks, Lois. So a little bit about me. You can see first up, I went to Christ Hospital School of Nursing. So how I got interested in nursing, my stepmom was a nurse. I was able to shadow her a little bit. And so I did like what she did. And because she worked in the Health Alliance at the time, I got a scholarship to the Christ Hospital School of Nursing. So I did that. Got my diploma there, didn't really have much interest in any particular area. So similar to Nancy's story, I decided just to get some really foundational experience on a medical surgical unit. So you can see I did that there at the Christ Hospital from about 2003 to 2006. And then I had a friend who said, Christina, let's go travel. Let's go across the United States. And with being a nurse, I had the opportunity to do that. So basically you become a contractor and you do, varying contracts depending on what the hospital needs. A lot of them were 12-week contracts. Maybe they just have several people who are out for different reasons. So you come in and you fill in just for that time for them. So I got to live in California and Arizona, and I would just work 3 12s a week. So the rest of the days I was able to go out and explore, which was really, really great. I did that through about 2008 and just missed my family a little bit, and I was ready to kind of just get more into a routine again. So I called one of my friends I went to nursing school with, and I said, what are you up to these days? And she said, oh, I'm working at the urology center, and I'm working in the pre-op and post-op area, which is where you get ready for surgery. They put your IV in, they go over all of your medications and things like that. And then on the flip side, she was also helping those that came out, helping them to recover and then send them home. And she said, sorry, we don't have any positions out here, but they have one back in the operating room. And I said, okay, that sounds exciting. I was just kind of a go with the flow sort of person. So I did that, and I was like, this is where it's at. Surgery is awesome. And this is where I am meant to be. So it was just by chance that I found surgery and working in the operating room. And while I was at the urology center, I had a little bit more what I would like to call, bank hours. We were open from 7 to 5:30. So I used that time and, not having call and things like that to go back and get my BSN. I knew at the time, basically, if you wanted to do anything further, you were going to need some sort of additional education. So that's what drove me to do that. I worked there all the way through. I got, my bachelor's, and it worked out really well, but I was craving more in surgery. I wanted bigger cases. I wanted to see more. And somebody from my bachelor's program worked at St. Elizabeth. And she said, why don't you come over here and, you can get a job in the operating room. So I did that. And I've seen some amazing things since then. I've had the opportunity to care for all different kinds of specialties in the operating room, and it's just been an amazing experience. I enjoyed precepting people and doing things like that. So when the educator position that you see on there became available in 2015, I thought, yeah, I want to do that. I want to continue to teach people and to help our nurses grow and be better clinicians. So I did that for about 3 years. In 2018, I found myself doing a lot of other projects too that were assigned to me from my director. And I really enjoyed those. It gave me a touch of business. And that was something I never thought I would enjoy. I love the clinical aspect of things. But when I had the opportunity to get involved in some of those, I was like, I want more of this. And it just so happened that the hospital, similar to what you heard before about those cohorts, they were offering one of those for an MBA. And so I thought, well, this is an opportunity to grow some of that business knowledge. So I did that. And around the same time, I told my director that, you need somebody to manage these things a little bit more full time. So, we have a lot of quality initiatives that we're trying to do, and a lot of other projects that require both that clinical knowledge and a little bit of that business knowledge as well. So he said, Christina, write a job description. So I did, and we made the title to be Program Manager Perioperative Clinical Support. So basically, that is kind of doing what I just said, managing a lot of different projects we have going on, and just also having that clinical background to kind of help guide those things. So that is where I am at currently. Definitely, as the others have said, not a typical path that you would see, but I wouldn't trade where I'm at for anything. It's been such a great ride. So that's a little bit about me.
Great. Thank you. I'm going to end this slideshow. Is that okay, Harper?
I'm muted now. Yes, thank you, Lois. I'm going to add you all back to the screen, and I am still watching in the chat for any questions that do come in. We are a little, since the live stream, a little bit delayed. So I have a couple of questions that while I wait for some of those to come in, I'll direct to you all.
Okay.
You all kind of touched on this before, but what is something that you all, with your different backgrounds, what is something that people might not know or like expect about the nursing career, kind of what you all do day to day? Lois, how about you go first?
Yeah, I think if you didn't pick up on it, I guess the options, and it's almost like the limitless kind of opportunities we have. And as I was listening to everybody's story, I mean, we've all proven we're good practitioners, okay, but we've able to do additional things in that aspect because we are good practitioners. However, we see other opportunities. And I think that's one thing about nursing across the board is, man, if the opportunities aren't out there, you can often convince others that they need to be there and make them.
Awesome. Jamie, how about you? What's something that people might not know about nursing or kind of what you do day to day?
I'm in the emergency room right now. So like I said, my background from mental health and psych, something that I just absolutely love is the fact that every day I go to work, I don't know what's in store for me. Every day, every shift is a new opportunity to, when I say learn something, I learn something new every single day. And for a personality type like myself, that keeps me engaged, that keeps me excited. And let's be honest, we're still in a pandemic. And so, never even understanding the flexibility that nurses possess and that they need. So just being flexible and understanding, like I said, working through a pandemic has been something else that I've never thought to experience, but here I am and we're all thriving. We've got a great team. And so just understanding that nursing is going to have so many challenges, but also so many opportunities to learn and experience new things every day.
Awesome, thanks. Christina, how about something that people might not know about what you do day to day?
Yeah, I think I have had the opportunity to really find a niche in nursing no matter where I was in my personal life. So I told you when I was young and single, I could travel all over the United States and do that. But when I entered the OR and I took call and things like that, that was fine for a little bit. But when I had kids, I didn't want to be leaving at 2 o'clock in the morning. And so I found that educator position that had more of those bank hours, as I said, and that fit in so well. And the job I currently have also fits in really, really well with my personal life, but I'm still able to feel like I'm thriving and doing what I love at the same time.
Awesome, thanks. And last but not least, Nancy, what is something that you do kind of day to day or something about your career that people might not know?
Yes, I will actually relate it to my bedside experience. So, especially working in the ICU, you probably don't know that aside from the patient that we need to take care of, we also take care of the family. This is a very critical, unit, and there's a lot of you will see a lot of family in there. They wouldn't accept patient diagnosis or prognosis, meaning, when the doctor tell them that, okay, you only have this, they will not gonna tell the specific days, but will say maybe we need to transition to a comfort measure instead of doing more aggressive measures. So sometimes patient is okay with that, but we have to deal with, caring for the family who weren't able to accept the situation. So, and sometimes, we are our patient's family. So just my recent experience, I do have a very, very sick patient. He was still alert and oriented when he came in. But he drinks a lot of alcohol, and it really caused him, a multi-organ failure. So I took care of that patient, and I think I spent most of my 12-hour shift inside a patient room. So the following day, I came back, and my charge nurse told me, I gave this patient back to you because you work hard on this patient, and we would like you to have the opportunity to care for this patient for the last time. So I was like, oh, what's going on? So the family decided to withdraw care, meaning to stop everything that we are doing. So when I was about to enter the room at the beginning of my shift, the family, there was a husband, there was a daughter and a wife who both came out of the room and said, well, ready. So I said, I would like to clarify, what do you mean by ready? So they said, well, you can take off everything, like stop the breathing support, all the medications. And I said, are you coming back in the room? And they said, no. So it means I have to stay on that patient because I do believe that no one should die alone. So with the nursing, I don't know how much you've seen or watched in the television, but it's a totally different, story. So I have to stay inside the room. I have to ask aide to stay inside the room when I have to go to my other patient. So, and I asked them before they leave, like, do I have to call you at the time of death? And they never answered. So I still called them though, but I never received any call. So at that point in time, at the 12-hour shift, that patient actually passed away about 5:30 in the morning. So it means I was that patient's family, the only one that was in there at the time of his death. So it's kind of like heartbreaking, but just to kind of get you ready with all those kinds of situations. So as I said, something that you probably don't know, we care for the patients as well as caring for family members also.
Yeah, that's a great point, Nancy, too. That's fantastic. And the other thing I want to comment on is you said it's nothing like the TV shows. Totally agree with that. There's nobody that works in the emergency room that takes a stretcher up to the OR and does open heart. That just doesn't happen. Am I right, Christina? And
yeah,
am I right?
It's not Grey's Anatomy, that's for sure.
So I did have a question for the group that I found pretty interesting. When we talked about at the last health career panel, why do people not make it in nursing and or healthcare? And I know that sounds like a negative spin, but I think it's important for people to know that there are people who they find out it's not right for them. So what do you think are some of the reasons that people don't stay in this career?
I can start if you want, Lois.
Sure.
Yeah, so I feel like, as I said, I found my way into all different kinds of things. So sometimes I do think it's that people didn't give it a fair shot, maybe to find a niche, like maybe they didn't try education or try, we have people going into IS, the kind of like the informatics sort of side of things. So I really feel like there's an option for everybody within nursing. And sometimes you just have to try some of your different areas that you didn't even think were possibilities before you do that. But I think it can also be very stressful. Jamie and Nancy working in the ER and the ICUs over the past year, those are the hardest hit areas during this pandemic. And it can be very draining. The story that Nancy just shared, I hear stories like that all the time, but still my heart just breaks as I hear something like that. And that can take a toll on you, certainly.
I would say the same thing, Christina, understanding that, why do some people fail? And I think it's the unknown and people not finding or just biting off more than they could chew, or getting into the profession and being like, whoa, this is a lot more than I ever expected. Especially nursing, we are, I always like to say, the jack of all, and I'm the master of none. I do so many different things in the emergency room, being able to help with respiratory therapy, being able to help with EKG techs. And I think that some people just don't understand the magnitude of what nurses do. And like we go back to saying, it's not the same like on TV. It's not the same at all. We go home and we're exhausted. And so I just think that people really don't know what they're getting themselves into, or like Christina had mentioned before, not finding their niche, not understanding that if you don't like something in nursing, there are 600,000 other things to do in nursing.
Nancy, do you have anything else to add?
Yes, I always say this, and I think I mentioned it before, that when it comes to nursing, you got to make sure that you really love the nursing job. Because, most of the time I've been hearing when I'm orienting, during the role transition. So when you are just about to enter the nursing career, is that I will ask them why they chose the job. Some of them are telling me that it's because of the job stability. They want to have a more stable job and opportunities, and that's okay. But then if you don't really love what you do, you will gonna give up, because as I said, there's a lot of things unexpected in nursing career, that you will not gonna experience all those until you basically take care of a patient. So you gotta put your heart into it.
So sorry, Harper, I didn't mean to interject there. That just was, the students on our career panel just loved that question. And so, okay, we can turn it around. We can be positive.
Yeah, I think that's a great question. And we always I think it's important to learn what you don't want to do rather as well as what you do want to do. So we always appreciate that kind of content in our stuff. So we did have one question come in from a student. So Jacob Hager asked, what is the best path to get into this career? And I know you all kind of touched on how you all got there, and it's sort of not the traditional way. So I kind of want to pivot that question and kind of go off of that, but just kind of say, what kind of advice would you give to students who are interested in becoming nurses, or kind of what you would give to people looking towards this path?
I think don't look too far ahead. I find students that come in and they'll say, I want to be, and this is a student who had talked to me about being like a pediatric surgeon, but to also have a subspecialty of surgery. And sometimes if you give yourself really, really far off goals, it may seem overwhelming. So I had kind of asked her about what does that educational process look like. So look ahead, but not so far ahead that it's going to discourage you. So for example, if you know you want to be like a family practice or nurse practitioner, you know you're going to need your bachelor's before you go on to your advanced nursing degree, which is usually probably about 2 years. So if you think all that is going to be done in 4 years, it goes back to getting the education, know where you want to end up and take steps. Because in that case, if somebody went and they, maybe they did a stair step type of process, it might take them longer, again, which is fine for some people. But don't look too far ahead, but still look at least a couple steps ahead, so you don't lose sight of what you need to do educationally to prepare yourself.
I also wanted to add to that because it's something that a lot of students, or I didn't even know that there's levels to nursing. So you touched on it before, and I think sometimes we speak so that everybody knows there are, clinical nurse assistants, CNAs, the kind of basic stepping into nursing. Then there's the registered nurse, which all of us are. Registered nurses are traditionally, with a 2-year degree or also a 4-year degree. So we talk about the associates and the bachelors. And then when you start talking about the nurse practitioner, the nurse anesthesia route, that is in addition to the 4 years of nursing on top of your bachelor's degree. So like you had said before, Lois, breaking it down and understanding that there are kind of the levels and kind of steps to go. And I think that's sometimes missed, because I would recommend to anybody, if I would have known or had the Christ Hospital of Nursing or Good Samaritan College of Nursing come to my senior program and give us the opportunity, or explain to us, hey, you could be a senior in high school, enroll in our program, get a 2-year associate's degree, and be out of college within your early 20s, working in your career field and growing. That is something that I wish was offered to us. Or again, Christina, you had a stepmom that worked and kind of knew that. I had no idea. So had I known that, maybe that would have been a route that I would have chose. But I'm still blessed regardless to end up where I am. But I just think if there were more explanation as to kind of how to get there, and exposing these type of groups and letting students know that there are, more direct ways to become a nurse.
Yeah, I think so too. I would like to echo that. I think, Jamie, I know in the last panel we talked about this, like those tests that you were showing before, Lois. I was going like this. I was like, those are amazing. I was just like taking all that in. Those were not options for me. And so I think students now really have the ability to do a lot more than we did to find our way. I agree with what you said earlier, Lois. Like I was really kind of letting the breeze take me several ways throughout my nursing career. And like I said, I wouldn't change that for anything. So I think, if you feel like healthcare is your calling, get into that, and then you can kind of find where things will take you, get some experience, and that just changes so much about you as a professional that you can use that and grow on that. So I think that's one of my main pieces of advice. Like you said, Lois, don't feel like you really have to decide, I am going to be a nurse anesthetist and here's everything I need to do to get there. That's a great goal, but make sure you're not putting on blinders on the way to that.
Great point.
I'm going to add something on that one too. So I think volunteering is very important. So if you have opportunity to volunteer in the hospital setting, even by just, bringing linens inside a patient room, just kind of make a feel in the surroundings that, if you're going to be interested in being, a nurse assistant, just so you know, nursing is just not about the blood, because everybody I'm hearing like, okay, nursing is not for me because I'm afraid with the blood. So it's not all about blood. There's more to nursing, that if you were gonna step your foot on it, you were gonna have a feel of what the surroundings or the people that you're gonna work with or the patients that you're gonna deal with. So.
Great. I think that's all the questions we had. I know I learned a lot today. I'm sure all the students who tuned in did too. it's great to hear all of the different ways you can become a nurse and all the different things you can do once you do get that RN. So thank you all so much, Lois, Christina, Jamie, and Nancy. This was a great panel, and we really appreciate you all being involved in Best Business. So thank you all very much. Just a couple of housekeeping things. We will have this video housed on our YouTube and Facebook. So if you want to share it with students, anything else like that, it will be housed there right after this. We have our next live session next Wednesday at 10 a.m. March 3rd with federal materials. And we hope you all can tune into that. Thank you all for attending today and have a great day.